is a nightmare. Man, that's the way it seems. Life is a nightmare.
Welcome to Today in Horrible History, your daily moment of historical misfortune. For March 7th, 2022, we head back to March 7th, 1827. On that date, a 15-year-old named Ellen Turner was abducted by two brothers who attempted to take her father's fortune. Edwin Gibbon Wakefield was from an aristocratic English family. His first wife died 4 days after the birth of his daughter, depressingly common in those days. Wakefield, who was 31 years old, and his brother William conceived of a scheme to abduct 15-year-old Ellen Turner, heiress to a considerable fortune. And they schemed to do this by luring her away from school with a false note stating her mother was ill. The pair then transported poor kidnapped Ellen to Scotland, right across the border, where marriage laws were more loose, and forced her to marry Edwin so that he could try to gain control of her money. The pair were married by a blacksmith because, well, I'm not sure why. The 1820s were weird. The affair is known as the Shrigley abduction because the Turners' manor house is called Shrigley Hall. For some reason, these houses are never named after the family. Not sure why. The Wakefields were pretty well off already, but Edwin wanted a political career, and this required more cash. After forcing marriage upon the kidnapped girl, the Wakefields took her to Calais, France, where Edwin wrote a letter to the Turner family in hopes they'd accept the marriage. This backfired. The well-connected and wealthy Turners did not accept the marriage of their kidnapped daughter, and instead had their marriage annulled by an act of parliament. This was with the understanding that the marriage was not consummated, i.e., at least Wakefield didn't rape her on top of everything else. The Wakefields were arrested upon return to England and sentenced to 3 years each in prison. Upon release, Edwin did much to colonize and populate South Australia and later New Zealand with British subjects. Wakefield is in fact considered a founding father of New Zealand. His daughter from his first marriage, who did survive, had 13 children in New Zealand, so he was kind of more the grandfather of the country. As for poor Ellen, she was married off to a rich neighbor 3 years after her abduction, and she died in childbirth at age 19. On that happy note, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Today in Horrible History. Remember that after a brief visit, the rest of your day can only seem better in comparison.
Life is a nightmare. Man, that's the way it seems. Life is a nightmare.